I have thought for the day. Here's hoping a whole school comes walking through. So you can find your way home from here because you know where you're going. That's my thought for the day. You can find your way home from here because you know where you're going. So this past weekend, lots of talks in San Ramon and USF, and then a retreat at Los Altos for the weekend. And always on these retreats, I bring a homie who helps me give the retreat, and I was quite privileged to have Jose Ariano with me to do that. And so we were at the airport on Friday, and you know, you're gonna go buy something or you're gonna go to the restroom. I said, in the event that we get separated, I said to him, if we get lost, we depart from gate 18. So then he pretends like he's the clerk at some grocery store. Will the father of a 300-pound baby please report to check stand 7? Yeah. So we laughed. And then the next day we're at San Ramon, and I said, you know, you're gonna get coffee and then maybe the restroom, and in the event that we get separated and we get maybe lost, know that our talk will be in conference room B. And then again he goes into, well, the father of a 300-pound baby please report to check stand 7. And so a routine has been born. And so after the talks, one of us had failed to pack a bunch of essential items, you know, like toothpaste and shampoo and deodorant and stuff. I won't say who it is, but it rhymes with Jose Ariano. And so we saw Target, and so, well, let's pull in here. And so I grab a little basket, and he grabs a basket, and then we go our separate ways. And so I buy some things, and then I go, where the hell is he? And I'm looking down all the aisles, I can't find him. So I'm about to call him on my cell phone, when all of a sudden, over the loudspeaker, this poor old clerk who sounds like he's being held hostage, will the father of a 300-pound baby please report to check stand 16? I could not believe my earlobes. We're not as lost as we think we are. You know, at Homeboy, you can always find your way home, because the truth is you're here, which means you know where you're going, no matter how lost you feel. Years ago in our first office, 1848 East 1st Street, a homie appears, and his name is Moreno, and he kind of goes, ta-da! I go, damn, when'd you get out of camp? He was in probation camp for a lengthy stretch. He goes, yesterday. You know, I give him a big hug, take him into my office, and we're talking. All of a sudden he pulls out this envelope from his pocket, and he hands it to me, and he announces proudly, these are my grades from probation camp. And he's excited, so I'm trying to be excited. And I start to fish the transcript out, and he sits up even more straight, and he says, straight A's. Serio, pedo, straight A's? He goes, me la rayo, straight A's. So I pull out the transcript, and, you know, sure enough, 2 C's, 2 B's, 1 A. And I think, close enough, you know, not the straightest A's I've ever seen in my life. And I said, wow, Miko, this is impressive. And I put the transcript back in the envelope, and I said, you know, on everything I love, if you were my son, I'd be the proudest man alive. And also Moreno takes his 2 little dedos and he sticks them in his eyeballs, trying to stem the flow of tears, which seemed to be inevitable. And I look at this kid, and I know that he's now been returned to a situation that's largely unchanged. I know that his parents are missing in action, addicted to drugs, mentally ill. Nobody knows where they are. I know that his grandmother, whose task it is now to raise him, is not up to the task. I know that a month before, I had buried his very best friend who was killed in our streets for no reason whatsoever. So I lead with my gut. I go, hey, I bet you're afraid to be out, aren't you? Well, he just begins to wail and cry and sob. And he even folds his arms at the front of the desk and rests his head on his folded arms. And he cries and he cries, and I let him cry. Till finally I reach over and I grab his arm. And I said, "You're going to be okay." And he looks up with even some defiance, and he says, "I just want to have a life." I said, "Mijito, who told you weren't going to have one?" Remember all those letters you wrote to me from probation camp, letters where you discovered all your goodness and your gifts and your talents? I know you think you're in a deep, dark hole, but the truth is you're in a tunnel, Ike. If you just keep walking, the light appears. That's the nature of tunnels. You're going to be fine. After all, and I hand him back his transcripts. Straight A's. Welcome home. And welcome to Homeboy. Because you're not as lost as you think you are. Because you're here. And you can always find your way home because you know where you're going. And with that cell phone whistle, let's have a good day. And Lisette, please lead us.